makes everything better. Hey, are we on? Hey guys, welcome to this very special Friday edition of our live show. And we just ran in from the Overland Expo, Tommy.
That's why I look like a tomato.
And that's why I'm wearing a hat, because my hair is pretty messed up. And to keep me staying positive.
That's right, yeah. So this weekend, if you are in Colorado, or even if you're not, the Overland Expo Mountain West is happening, which is a large gathering of off-road and camping enthusiasts, I'll put it that way, and there are some super cool vehicles on display.
Yeah, we paid $18 for 3 lemonades, Tommy. That is like the carnival lemonade money. What is it with, like, you buy this lemonade, right, and it's got half a lemon in it, but it's not like real lemonade. I think they fake you out. I think they get a lot of like just, you know, powdered lemonade, mix it together with water, and then they cut a lemon in half, throw it in there, make you feel like it's real lemonade, like they actually use it, and then they charge you a lot for it.
Well, apparently, it was fresh squeezed lemonade.
I don't believe it.
And they had limeade, too.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I think it's powdered, and I think they're faking you out with that half of a lemon in there. But anyway, let's get to the topic at hand. Tommy, you just got done driving across Colorado, which is something we get to do a lot, actually. But thank you, Toyota, for the program, in the new 2022 Tacoma, and of course the 2021 4Runner. And so let's start with that before we get into the Overland Expo and all the stuff that's happening here. So tell me about your trip.
Well, we left on Tuesday morning,
Yep.
actually. We started the program on Tuesday evening,
Yep.
where we had dinner, and then Wednesday morning we left from Golden, Colorado, and we drove up 285, which is a beautiful scenic road that takes you to a town called like Fairplay, and then we went over this pass called Georgia Pass, and then we went up Middle Fork of the Swan to the top of the mountains up to like 13,000 feet, and then we came down Deer Creek, had a night camping, and then we had a crazy day yesterday of driving through national parks and through little cities and mountain towns. And yeah, so we had a whole bunch of vehicles, including the 22 the 22 Tacoma Trd Pro.
It was that crazy color. It's like almost like a lime, bright green color. What's it called?
Yes. Yeah, it's a brand new color for the 2022 Trd Pro. It is called Electric Lime.
See, I was right.
On the Tacoma,
Yeah.
but on the 4Runner,
Yeah.
it's called Lime Rush. And it's a different shade.
Really?
Yeah, so when those vehicles hit Pebble Beach in 50 years, people are restoring them, make sure you get the right shade of lime, otherwise you're going to get marked down.
And apparently there are only 3 in existence and you got to drive them.
Yeah, so there are apparently 2 of the Electric Lime Trd Pros, and then we didn't get to drive the 4Runner because there's only one of those, and that just came out. That was just debuted.
The paint color was too expensive and too new and too fragile to go off-roading. I can see that.
But here's the cool part. The most interesting vehicle that we drove was actually not the Trd Pros, in my opinion. It's a model called the Tacoma Sr5 Trail.
Oh.
Now, this is a model that has existed for the 21 model year, but for the 22 model year, it's the cheapest way to get a Tacoma with the bare essentials and a rear locker.
Huh. So it's kind of like your Jeep.
Yes.
Like a Willys version of a Rubicon.
That's exactly right. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like a base model, so it's got cloth seats, and it doesn't have like the cool cameras, but then it has these amazing kind of copper-looking wheels, off-road tires, and a rear locker.
Well, you don't have a rear locker.
I don't. Yeah, so the Tacoma is better than my Wrangler.
Well, that's cool. Now, for if you're just wondering, for 2022, obviously the Tacoma is a little bit changed. Now, I believe that, to be fair, there is a driving impressions embargo, so we can't tell you how it drives, but you can probably imagine how it drives. But they did, besides doing the new color, they did stamp Tacoma on the tailgate, right?
They did, and they messed with the Trd Pro suspension as well. So it sits higher than the previous generations. It's got some new geometry, approved approach angle. It still is the same basic truck. So it still has a 3.5. It still has body on frame with the same basic suspension idea. So it still has independent suspension in the front, float axles in the rear. We got a donation.
Oh, we did. Thank you. Who was our donation?
Super chat, $2. He said, Tommy, back to the studio so fast after the review. Yes, I am totally fried right now. So if I'm a little bit loopy, it's because I just got back from this big adventure and it was like 1,000 degrees today.
Yeah, it's been hot. The other thing I guess I want to ask you about is, well, the Tacoma now is the oldest truck, mid-sized truck in America, right? So it used to be that the Frontier was the oldest one, but now the Tacoma has that dubious honor, along with being the best-selling truck.
I don't think it's that old, though. I mean, when did the 3rd gen Tacoma come out? 2017?
16.
16?
Yeah, I think it's older than the Colorado Canyon Twins.
But that's only 5 years old.
They just, no, but that was a continuation. It was a refresh.
Of the Tacoma?
Yeah.
Tacoma was all new.
In 2017?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was totally new.
The same power plant or
nope,
different?
different power plant.
Is that when they went from the 4-liter to 3.5?
Yeah, so the Tacoma was brand new in 2016. And I still think it is the best looking mid-size truck in the market.
So is it the oldest now, or isn't it? Is the Colorado Canyon Twins, are they older? Zach, you know? Because they just refreshed the Frontier. They just kind of redid a light refresh on the Ridgeline.
I believe technically you're right.
Yeah.
I think the Colorado Canyon was 17. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, the Gladiator's new, so that it's not that one. The Ranger is
That
well.
one was
no,
20,
okay.
Ranger was 19.
The Ranger could actually be older because the Ranger was basically like 2011 was when they first came out.
The T6
Yeah.
Global Ranger is older.
But
It always depends on how you want to slice it.
Colorado is 2015
all right.
in the U.S.
Anyway, it is a new color.
Yeah, so there's a new color, but the big deal with the Trail Edition is it's an SR5 with some amazing looking wheels and the rear locker, and that is the one you want to buy because it is going to give you everything you need plus the locking diff. I do not know when it will finally be priced. It sounds like we're going to know pricing next week, but I'm hoping it's pretty affordable. $499 from Devin Sutler. Will TFL make an appearance at Overland Expo East by any chance? East.
No, we're not going to East. We're going to the main one though. The one
West.
the one in Flagstaff. We'll be at West. Unfortunately, East there's no plans. So me and Tommy are going to be at West. We're going there with Ram and driving the Power Wagon. I can't wait.
That's right. Yep. So this trip was Tacoma, and then the next trip is going to be Power Wagon with the Ram. But yeah, so it was cool. So I can't talk about the 22 model years, but I can talk about the 21 model years because on our trip we also had the 2021 Tacoma TRD Pro along with the 2021 and a 2020 even TRD Off-Road, including the new lift kit models. So that you can now get it with the suspension lift on it. On the TRD Off-Road, which is a really cool option. So that'll give you, I think it's like 1.5 inches or a couple inches of additional lift.
So parked out in front is the 2021 4Runner, and I always forget about the 4Runner. The 4Runner to me is like, forgive me if you find this, well, not offensive, but weird, but it's like an old shoe. It's very comfortable.
I do love the 4Runner.
Yeah, I always forget. I kind of forget that it's out there, right? That the spotlight has recently been on the new Wrangler, and then of course on the Bronco, on the Defender. But you kind of just forget that the 4Runner also competes in that world, and then you get it behind the wheel, and it's got the old 4-liter, which I actually like better than the 3.5 in the Tacoma. It's got a 5-speed transmission, and it just all kind of works. And you get behind the wheel, and you sit in this comfortable chair, and then you've got this kind of high cowl, so you can put your hand on the windscreen, and it just all falls into place. And you're like, this is a really comfortable truck. It's just like it's the right size vehicle, right? It's not too small, it's not too big, and it just all comes together. And it's I think Toyota doesn't get enough credit for the 4Runner.
I completely agree. I think the 4Runner is still one of the most attractive SUVs on the market. It is still one of the most capable SUVs on the market, and it is still one of the best values on the market for the longevity you get out of it. The 4-liter V6, extremely potent. Now, of course, it's got the Toyota suite of safety features, so you've got the adaptive cruise control and everything you'd come to expect in a new luxury car in terms of safety gear. So brilliant. On the trip, everyone had the rear window down. Awesome vehicle off-road too, with the A-Track system, the crawl control, the multi-terrain select. The 4Runner is freaking brilliant.
Yeah, and I think I would be remiss if I didn't bring the other T truck into this conversation, which of course is the Tundra, right? So there's a new Tundra coming. You probably all know that by now. You may have seen spy pictures of it that got released accidentally because of a dealer meeting, but please stay tuned to TFL. We've got some really great videos coming on the new Tundra in the next month or so. So I can't say more than that because once again embargoes, but we are on top of the Tundra. We know it's coming, and I tell you, Tommy, I can't wait to drive it. It's been forever since there's been a new Tundra, and it looks like we're going to not only have a new and more, I think, capable vehicle, but we're going to have an interesting powertrain. All kinds of speculation about that. I'm sure you can do it in the comments section, in the discussion. but we're also going to have now a new full-size truck that is right up there with the big three.
So we've got some interesting discussion. Jason says, real world, how much better is the TRD Pro versus TRD Off-Road? So I drove the 2021 TRD Off-Road back-to-back with the 2021 TRD Pro, and out on the trails, they are virtually identical. I mean, there just isn't that much gear that you get in a Pro versus an Off-Road that makes it better Off-Road. So you get cooler colors, you get better hood graphics.
You know what you get?
Red stitching.
On the TRD Pro? No, you get like a $10,000 dealer markup.
You get the big dealer market. I tell people this all the time. If you're going to get a TRD model, the off-road is the one to get. Although now maybe that trail edition is the one to get.
Sorry, market adjustment.
Market adjustment.
Yeah, market adjustment. Sorry,
Yes.
didn't want to upset any.
We saw a lot of those at the expo today. A lot of market adjustments. So Andrew says, have you reviewed a Honda Ridgeline recently?
Yeah, we just drove one back from California. So go look up that review. It was red.
Barilla Family Adventures says, see you in Flagstaff, bringing a bunch of the Black Series camper owners. Black Series was there at the show, so these are these big, aggressive off-road campers, which are pretty cool.
Shall we talk about the show? Are you ready to talk about it?
Yeah, let's talk about the show.
I took a bunch of pictures, and Zach, maybe you could put some of these up and kind of give a sense of what was there. The one that really struck me, and Zach, if you have a picture of this, was actually the Lincoln that was turned into an Overlander. The Navigator. Did you see that?
Don't
No.
believe I have that one.
That was an Expedition.
Oh, you didn't get the Expedition?
The red tail
Yeah.
Overland thing?
Because you're pretty much right here. Hang on a second.
Hold on. Find the Expedition.
Yeah,
No,
the
You
Expedition.
were pretty much right up on the grill, so the photo is all crowded. You can't see it, unfortunately.
You didn't do a good job taking a picture. Imagine a lifted Expedition with a rooftop tent, and that'll pretty much give you the
It's on my
idea.
phone. I could hold it up.
No, but the issue is you didn't do a good job taking the picture. The picture is the issue.
No, actually, if we're being honest, Tommy, I asked you to take the pictures. You didn't. I had 3.5 minutes to go take the pictures, so I ran out there and took as many pictures as I could while you were getting the 4Runner to bring home.
So yeah, so this was a very cool thing. It was an Expedition with a nice lift and gold wheels. Gold wheels are in a big way right now.
They are. It's a thing right now.
Yeah, so if you want to make your vehicle cooler, apparently gold wheels are the move. But it had a roof, top tent. The coolest things at the show, I have to say, which were kind of sucking the air out of the wind, out of the room from a lot of folks, were the Unimogs.
Oh yeah, there were a lot of Unimogs.
Andre actually,
A lot of Unimogs, a lot of Sprinter vans.
Andre actually went out and met
one?
with.
Did you drive one?
No, Andre actually went out and met with the guy who does the Unimogs,
Uh-huh.
and I spent about 25 minutes talking to him today. And he's a super interesting guy.
Wait, you should. I mean, Mercedes does Unimogs. There's a guy in Denver, let's take a step back, that imports Unimogs that Andre has done videos with, the last one being, if you saw it, where he went and raced a side-by-side in the snow up a mountain.
Yeah, so it's a company called Couch Engineering, and they import the Unimogs, and then they restore them and fully kit them out for off-road adventures. They have 32 forward gears. The new ones have 5.9 liter inline six-cylinder diesels.
I'm not buying one unless it has 33 forward gears.
No, 32 is
33
all you
is
get.
my
Yeah,
my bottom line.
and 32 reverse gears too. But
So, okay, just for reference, I fixed it a little bit. I threw up the Expedition, so it's up on there now.
There you go, and you can see how badly I cropped it. So I am the one to blame for the badly cropped
You can
image.
see the fender flares and the wheels and tires and.
It just had a lot of
the
road
rest of the
presence,
stuff. Yeah.
especially with that massive tent.
it
on.
was popular. People liked it, but not as popular as these Unimogs. These things were crazy. So they were kind of the star. But we also saw a lot of really big trucks like MAN, Kenworth, International. They had these huge trucks.
Yeah,
Don't throw that International up there. Roman did get that one.
Yeah, you know what's been happening, Tommy. Like with everything in America, you kind of start small, but this is America, and then you go triple XL. And I'm seeing that right now with the Mans. We're seeing that with the Unimog. And I got to say, and this is a local company, the ugliest truck there, definitely, you know it, you love it, you've heard of it, Earth Roamer, the big one.
Earth Roamer had their little one and their big one, and the big one was surprisingly ugly.
Yeah, it's like the I didn't take a picture of it, Zach. It was too far down the thing, but it was like a dystopian nightmare of what, like, oversized RV truck should be. I mean, first of all, it's like literally 18 feet tall.
Yes.
Then it looks like
And the front end is very stubby. It's got like a little nose on
it
it.
looks like a steampunk locomotive that had its way with a Ford. What size of Ford is that?
F550.
550 or F60. That's what it is. And it's so freaking massive, so ginormous that I cannot imagine taking it off-road outside of a full-on desert.
And there were a lot of those. So Zach just showed us the International. which you had up on the screen. But so they're all basically full-on trucks. A lot of the time 6x6, so beyond 4x4, they're 6-wheel drive. And they are definitely the fashion right now. Like if you can afford 10 Sprinter vans, go out and buy one of these guys.
Well, I mean, a Sprinter, let's talk about the Sprinter vans. You know, those, if you're looking at like Storyteller, right, those start at about 200K-ish, maybe a little bit less, 195. So how much does one of these like man trucks cost?
Well, you're going to be looking at a few
$1 million?
million. Few million in
Wow.
some cases. Yeah, very expensive.
And I guess if you're looking at a few $1 million for an overlanding rig, fuel economy is not an issue.
Not so much, not so much. So we got some interesting comments. The GMC Overland X is looking very cool.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. We actually did a video that's going to go up tomorrow, right, Zach? So we have a video of it. You did a walk around. I was super impressed by that vehicle. It's up on TFL Off-Road. Is that where we put the story, or TFL Truck?
It's on track.
It's on Truck, so you can check out TFL Truck, or just go to TFL-studios.com and you will see all the stories, all the videos, all the podcasts in one location. But yeah, I think GMC nailed it out of the ballpark with that truck. It's really good looking.
So what they did is they took a Canyon and then they put basically the drivetrain out of the Colorado ZR2. So it has the Multimatic shocks, it has front and rear locking differentials, but then they kind of upgraded the look with a very cool custom front end. So it's got a front winch mount.
Really well integrated Warn winch. Just a little like little cloth, Warn symbols hanging out. Otherwise you wouldn't know. It's got these really cool like I think they're aluminum recovery hooks, right? Big, bold, almost like it looks like a Hummer in some ways. They're squared off.
Yeah, they're pretty much the Humvee.
Yeah.
The Humvee hook, so kind of the old military style. And then it's got an alu cab on the back with a rooftop tent, and it's got the full kitchen set up. It was very nice.
Has a Dominic refrigerator.
Dometic.
Dometic, yeah, Dometic. That's
Dominic.
Dometic. It's a Swedish company apparently. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
I didn't know that. I just found that out.
So
Yeah.
Jason, that truck did not have the G80. That actually had front and rear locking diffs, electronic lockers, like the ZR2.
So Zach, maybe you can answer this question. I tried to figure out what the powertrain was, but there was no exhaust, so I couldn't tell if it was
So
a
with
diesel.
that particular concept, it had the 3.6 V6, not the Duramax diesel.
Did you see the exhaust on it?
No.
It was a stock exhaust.
Was it? I couldn't find it. It was hidden by that rear bumper.
Yeah, V6. And it's funny they went through all this effort to make the ultimate like adventure rig, and then they stuck the 3.6.
You would have rather
That
preferred
was the missed opportunity. They should put the 2.8
Yeah.
Duramax in it.
For sure.
the Baby Max?
Yeah, put the little Duramax in there.
But anyway, GMC, good job. I thought it was interesting. My favorite thing on that truck were where you have, like on the Bronco now, where you can do those cables that run from the corners of the hood all the way to the corners of the A-pillar.
The limb risers.
Yeah.
That's what they're called. So when you're going through trees, they're supposed to rise the limbs out of your windshield.
Because, we have very similar climate here in Colorado to Borneo.
Very true. Very true. So GMC also, if you go to the expo, also has a new Hummer, the new EV Hummer. And you can check that out while you're down there too.
I called them and I said, will you bring it by our offices? And they said, stay tuned.
Oh, well, that's not much of an answer.
Well, stay tuned. That's what they told me.
Trevor says manual trans in the Trail Edition Taco. I'm not sure, but I believe that the Pro will have the manual for 22. I really like that Trail Edition. It had gold wheels. Gold wheels make everything look better. I'm convinced of it. So that was very, very cool.
The other thing that was at the expo, which was really cool, was just a plethora of different motorcycles. So obviously you had the Yamaha Tenere, the BMW GS. You also had the new Africa Twin, and a lot of these were like people are now modding their motorcycles. I actually saw a parade of Urals going down the road, which are the sidecar BMW clones built by a Russian company.
Okay.
So a lot of cool motorcycles there, and the coolest one, I took a picture of it, Zach, if you can find it. I think it was a Grom with off-roady wheels on it.
Oh yes, I
Yeah,
did
I've
see
been,
that.
cycling through them.
Off-roady tires.
Yeah.
And so Honda even brought out the Africa Twin. So they had a DCT Africa Twin,
Yep.
automatic, and the new Trail, which was the little 125. They had a one on display, and I finally got to sit on one, and I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. Oh yeah, look at that little off-road
We're
ground.
really trying to get a Honda Trail from Honda to review, because it is. I think it must be the hottest motorcycle of the decade right now, because they're impossible to buy and they're even impossible to get for press reviews. That's how popular they are. And because of course, COVID and the chip shortage, Honda, is still limited in production, which is a shame, because I would love to get my foot or leg over one of these.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. So basically what it is, it's a little off-road scooter, but with so it's the old school trail from the 70s. Imagine that, but new. So it's got like little off-road tires, and it's got a sequential.
Without a clutch?
Yeah, clutchless, semi-automatic, really.
Yeah, is that a semi-manual or semi-automatic?
Well, it's probably manual because you still have to shift it.
Manual-matic?
No. I think they call it, I don't think market.
Anyway, it's basically, it's got gears, but you don't have to use a clutch.
But you have to shift it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a very cool thing to see.
But not the Africa Twin.
No, the Africa Twin's a full automatic.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's a dual clutch.
Yeah.
Yep, and then Yamaha was there, as was Harley. They're doing ride along. So it was a pretty big event, pretty massive.
Yeah, so I'm really happy to see all this. Like, look, for me, overlanding is keep it as simple as possible. So as you could tell, I was making fun of that earth roamer because that's the exact opposite of where I am going. You know, when I first got into like the rooftop tents, I thought they were a game changer. Now it's such a cliche in some ways. I'm like, hey, maybe you can just use a regular ground tent. But having said that, they are still more convenient and certainly, I think, in a lot of ways more user-friendly because you're not on the ground with like raccoons or, God help you, bears. You think a bear could crawl up inside of a car?
For sure. Yeah, crawl up like nothing.
Yeah.
Like nothing happened. Everyone wants to know about our books. Can you show the books?
Oh, sure. Yeah, this is our Colorado book. We are kind of trying to do a series, if you've been watching our bike channel, where we go to Colorado ghost towns, and this is that interesting book where they show you what the town looked like back 100 years ago and what it looks like today. So that's one of the books we're using for the video series where we're writing the ghost towns. Of course, we've got our old F100, and so we've got our Ford book here.
That was, Dan Atkinson sent me that.
Yes, thank you, Dan. That was really great. And then we got this from one of our viewers, Tommy.
What is it?
It's DJ's Off-Road Adventure. DJ Faces His Fears.
Oh, yeah, it's a children's book.
It's a children's book that I guess we inspired, so it's really cool to see a children's book, and that was by David McBee and Floyd Leroy illustrated it. So if you want a great truck kids book, and then more truck stuff, 100 Years of Trucks. That's Chevy. We got to be, you know, equally friendly to all the brands, including, of course, Dodge.
Yeah.
And then Pirelli we worked with, and so they sent us their calendar, and this is the Pirelli calendar. And if you know anything about the Pirelli calendar, you know that in previous years it was very salacious. There were a lot of like
demonetization worthy stuff in there.
But this one is more classic. There's very little skin and a lot of beautiful women and a lot of famous women in this one actually. And you know, very like, well, you could see like
okay, yes, I think we've covered the books to great extent at this point.
I mean, yeah, it's
just see people tuning out at this right here.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Is that the sound of people clicking out? Maybe I should have shown more skin. Maybe Pirelli should have done the classic calendar that year. I don't know.
So super chat from Manuel. Big thank you, Manuel, for $20. Hi TFL. In off-road, what do you consider better, the 4Runner or the Bronco? As always, great job overall.
So what are we going to do Monday, Tommy?
We're going to do that exact test. So we're going to take the Trd Pro 4Runner and the Bronco First Edition up some Colorado off-road trails. We're going 6 hours that way to go get some cool stuff out in the wild.
We're going to go do imaging.
Yep, and then we'll let you know what is better.
That's why we brought it to the office. So we're going to compare the two on probably Colorado's most scenic and most, not challenging, but certainly most interesting trail.
I think that the Bronco is probably going to be better in the rock crawly sections because it does have the 35s and it's just got so much ground clearance and it's got the front locker too. But as a general capable off-road vehicle, the 4Runner's so good. It's so incredibly capable.
You know, I know one place I can already tell you where the Bronco is going to be better.
Where?
Going topless.
Yes, yes.
Letting in sunlight. Because of course the 4Runner doesn't have a convertible.
Okay, so we've got some interesting questions. When will you be modding the FJ?
We're never going to mod the FJ. The cool thing about the FJ is that we bought one specifically not to mod because what's going to happen with the FJs, and it's already happening, is what happened with the original Broncos where everybody cut them, lifted them, and the ones that actually are now cool and more interesting are the ones that are not modded. So we do not want to mod the FJ. We want to keep it stock. And what we end up doing with it, I don't know. We've been using it kind of as a comparison vehicle. Do you like the FJ, Tommy?
I love the FJ.
Yeah, I think modding it. Here's my, after doing this for what, 12 years now. Here's my take on modding things. If you mod something, you're making it your own, which is great, except at some point when you go to sell it, you're selling your ideal dream of what this vehicle should be. And if it doesn't match with everybody else's notion, you've kind of devalued the vehicle, right? The value is always in the originality of it, the way that it came from the factory, so that somebody else could make it their own. We're not, personally, maybe you are, Tommy, maybe Zach is, but I'm not a designer. I don't have the vision to actually make it better than the guys who designed it in California at the Calty Studios. Calty.
So $5 from Adam.
Thank you, Adam.
Huge thank you, Adam. That's very kind of you. Scott says, did you hear this week that 2 guys took their monkey bikes on Black Bear Pass? How about you do that on your monkey? I'm not good enough to do that on my monkey.
Can I tell the story? The story about the guys on the motorcycle?
Yeah, but that was not a monkey. That was a big bike.
Yeah, so the first time we did Black Bear, there's only 2 hard parts. There's that one waterfall area where you're kind of off camber and you're looking down at a 2,000-foot drop, and then there's the first serpentine where there's a rock where you can't go over that cliff, but you still have to make a very tight turn. And these guys rode motorcycles down that first kind of waterfall area, and when you're in a 4-wheel vehicle, it's pretty scary because you're kind of leaning and tilting down into a 5,000-foot fall, but when you're on a motorcycle, it's terrifying. And so unless you're really, really good and fearless, that's a really hard kind of angle to ride. So these guys basically took their bikes and they leaned them up against the mountain and then dragged them on their side up against the mountain to get them down the waterfall.
I will not be doing that. Adam, so the gentleman who just super chatted us says, any intel on the 2022 model year, will it get an interior refresh? No intel. That's a great question. I don't think that they're going to refresh the interior. Maybe they will.
What?
Wrangler.
No, I don't think there's any refresh coming on the
Wrangler. They may give it the Uconnect 5 though.
Yeah.
I think Uconnect 5 is on its way, but apart from that, I don't think we're going to see.
They're having a hard time just building them at this point.
Right. Yeah, it's a bit of a problem. Tommy, do you think the lime rush color will hold up over time? Not really. To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of the bright greens. That's just a personal thing. Obviously, I'm not the person to listen to about style. But I talked to a bunch of people at the Overland Expo. A lot of fans showed up today. And it seems to be, in general, people are kind of on the fence about the bright greens on the TRD Pros.
You like Jelly Bellies?
Well, like the dark green. The Army green was such a good color. The Army green was so cool. Voodoo blue was so cool. I'm not sure these limes are very good.
Zach,
the thing I like about Toyota, though, particularly with the TRD Pro, is I think they're cognizant of that. Some people will be on the fence about Lime Rush. So they'll alternate kind of more sober colors with their really bright, loud colors. So you'll get Voodoo Blue, then you'll get Army Green, which is a little bit more toned down. Then you'll get Lime Rush, and then 22 or 23 if they have a 23.
I'm going to throw out a trivia question.
Sure.
And you got to get both of them. What is that lime color called if it's a Dodge?
Sublime.
No, it's a trivia question. It's for them.
Oh.
You're not supposed to answer it. All right, what is it called if it's a Mustang? Don't say it.
Huh.
Don't say it. So what is that color called in the Mustang world?
Yep, you got to have a green. That's the color.
You gave it away.
I gave it away.
Oh,
so
Tommy's got to show off his obscure car color knowledge.
So they're different colors, right? Electric Lime and Lime Rush. And the Lime Rush on the 4Runner was pretty much agreed upon to be worse than the Electric Lime. It's like a bright green, but it's pale. So it kind of looks like they forgot to paint the rest of it. I'm not so sure that was the move, but time will tell.
You know what's in right now? When you were a kid, and then there were like 2 sets of crayons that were the basic colors. Remember those?
Yes.
Maybe you. I don't know. There's a box of like red, black, white, blah blah blah, right? And then there was like this other box of like pastel colors. Like watermelon colors, and those are the colors that are super in right now. You first saw it with the Defender, right? They had those colors, and now we're seeing it slowly kind of creep into all the other brands. I mean, our Bronco is kind of that color as well, right? It's kind of that. Is it orange? Is it yellow? I don't know.
So someone's asking what's next for the Defender.
Yeah, what is next for the Defender?
Well, we have our long-term update coming up soon.
Yes, we just did a 1-year update on it.
And then that vehicle is sold.
Yeah, we sold it. So we recorded the 1-year update on it. And it was obviously an interesting year with it. And so that's a big edit because we have to go through all the videos that we did and insert them into that one video. And yeah, we sold it. It's gone. It's been around long enough, and it's time to move on. So I'll give you my dream build of vehicles I want to get right now to replace it. I'd love to get a Rivian.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we seem to be having issues with getting hold of anybody at Rivian, and I keep saying we'll make it the most famous Rivian in America, but it doesn't seem to resonate with many people.
Well, at least at Rivian, yeah.
Yeah. So we'd like to get one of those. They're supposed to start deliveries next month, but once again, they're having chip issues like everybody else and production issues. So that will be the next one that we would like to buy and do a long-term review on.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
Maybe a Maverick. I don't know, Tommy.
Maverick would be cool, and then a Tundra is the big one.
Yeah, and then the Tundra, of course, which is hopefully going to be available before the end of the year.
Yeah, we'll probably end up buying one of those.
So let me know in the comments, which would you like us to buy for a long-term review? Maverick, Tundra, or Rivian?
Stingray Z says you need a Trooper. Well, Nathan just bought his Montero.
Yeah, he did.
He loves that Montero.
So if you haven't seen that video, check it out. It's on TFL Classics, right? Or TFL Dash.
Hello Moro is insistent on saying the 4Runner beeps in 4x4 low. It does not actually. So it only beeps going into 4x4 low, and then once they're in there, it's good to go. I just want to get that out of the way in the comment section.
All right, and then the cool thing about the one that we have parked out there is it's got the Trd exhaust. So that's a really interesting exhaust.
Yes, it does sound pretty cool. Forge from Freedom says, I'm doing imaging on Monday. Wave if you see me, Black 2000 4Runner. We're lucky to live locally here in Montrose. Enjoy imaging. Love TFL.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice. Yeah, unfortunately, we're driving there Monday, so we'll be running it Tuesday.
That's correct.
Yeah, yeah. So, hey, let's talk about, Tommy, right now, since we're kind of going through the different off-roaders. So let's talk about the difference between, I'll throw the G-Wagon in there, right? So G-Wagon, Wrangler, 4Runner, or Bronco. Wow, we live in interesting times.
I don't like. What are you using it for? I mean,
I'm saying
different answers.
Okay, let's take the G-Wagon out of it because that's unattainium and crazy expensive.
Right.
But if you had, let's say, 50,000, let's go 60,000 because now prices are through the roof. $60,000, would you get the 4Runner, the Bronco, or the Wrangler?
Oh, your mic keeps cutting out. People are saying. Oh,
sorry. Maybe I can.
Try if you unplug it and plug it back in. That usually fixes it. Okay.
So 4Runner versus Wrangler versus, I shouldn't say which would you get, that's unfair, but let's kind of discuss the differences between them and the pluses and minuses of each of them. So obviously the Bronco and the Wrangler are convertibles. That's a big deal.
Right. Honestly, once again, I couldn't even choose one. I mean, it depends so much on what you're looking for. Like for me, I really value small and lightweight, and that's the big deal. So two-door soft top Wrangler is what I bought. But if I had a family and I valued safety and I wanted a dependable vehicle, then like the 4Runner, 100% of the time. And then if I wanted, the coolest, newest thing with the most horsepower and the biggest kind of panache, I would get the Bronco.
Yeah, and I mean, I think what makes the decision easier, for instance, is that the 4Runner only has one powertrain, right? So if you love your 4-liter, that's the one to get. Whereas, the Bronco now, we're looking at two different powertrains. So we're looking at, a 4-cylinder and a 6-cylinder. And then, of course, the Wrangler, oh my gosh, right? Not only do you have, is it 5 now?
6, I think.
6 with the 4xe. So I suppose that, if you want it to be as green as possible and you were actually plugging it at night, then the 4xe would be my choice.
Well, and if you're looking at a vehicle to keep for the next 15 years, then get a 4Runner. It's just going to probably be the longest lived. That 4-liter just won't die, and neither will the 5-speed.
But all these decisions, all these checking things off don't matter. Everybody wants a Bronco now because it's the newest and greatest.
Yeah, but that'll change. I mean,
it will change.
They're doing such a bad job of getting these out the door. You'd expect that this Overland Expo would have been all Broncos because they all gravitate toward. Yeah, but that was an A-or-B Bronco. They got that way ahead of time from Ford. You'd expect this thing to be full of Broncos, but they just can't build them.
Did you like the A-or-B Bronco?
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, was it on 35s?
I didn't look at it closely enough. I was running around like a headless chicken. Yeah,
they had the Bronco right next to the Defender.
Yeah, they had a company there that was doing what are those called? Binoculars.
Yeah, yeah. So that was interesting to see the two newest ones there. I think that Defender is kind of the dark horse in this race because I didn't include it in the 3 because once again you're kind of in between a G-Wagon and the rest of these. But now they're doing a 2-door, a 4-door, a V8. There's an SVR version coming, right? There's actually now a longer wheelbase version coming. I mean, Defender is really coming on strong in terms of its product lineup. And I also think it's been around a year, And now, well, because if it wasn't COVID, you'd start to see them like in the used car market, and you could actually start to see people actually like putting off-roady stuff on them and taking them off-road. But because they're so expensive and because they're unattainium right now, you're not seeing a lot of them out there on the trail.
The Broncos? But they just...
No, the Defenders.
They're not... I don't think they're unattainable. Honestly, I see Defenders everywhere. Defenders are...
Never on the trail.
Because they're not an off-roader. There's a reason you don't see them on the trail.
Yeah.
They're not... I mean, you don't see Discoveries on the trail either unless they're old.
I
right?
see a lot of Disco 2s.
Yeah, but once again, that's a $5,000 trail rig. You see a lot of LR3s, it's a $7,000 trail rig. But you don't see a lot of Defenders because they're 75, 80K, and they're not...
But you do see a lot of Wranglers, which are also
yeah,
65.
but that's a purpose-built off-road vehicle with knobby tires and 17-inch wheels.
But you're still going to get the trail damaged and pinstripe.
But it's a different attitude. I think it's a different atmosphere. When you're dealing with a Wrangler, I think a lot of folks...
Okay, all right, fair enough. I'll give you that. But how about the fact that a Defender is probably a better overlander than like a Bronco or Wrangler?
But people, I think, will still go for a Toyota if they're going for an overland world. Honestly, I see a lot of Defenders.
The reliability is the key.
Reliability is the key. I see a lot of Defenders, but I've never seen one that's not on pavement. I've never seen a Defender in the dirt.
Except for ours.
Yeah, well, yeah, that one got stuck on dirt. But I see them a lot on the roads around here. And there were a few at the expo.
Yeah, with rooftop tents, to be fair.
Yeah, and there was one, this company had built, it did look very cool. It was a two-door black Defender on 20-inch steel wheels.
20-inch?
Someone had made custom 20-inch steel wheels.
I didn't know you could get 20-inch steel wheels.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, that seems, maybe that's like chic, shabby chic cool.
I don't know what that was. Yeah, that broke my brain. Like steel wheels are usually supposed to be like the entry-level 15 or 16-inch wheel, and these custom 20-inch steel wheels.
So I did a really interesting video with Andre that we're publishing tomorrow, and I hope you guys have a chance to watch this one because, you know, very rarely do we do something that is, I think, so pervasive kind of throughout the national conversation without actually anybody having tried it. And so we did something unique, and that is we took Andre's truck and we tried to plug it into a house. Remember in Texas where the power grid went down during that ice storm and snowstorm, and everybody was powerless, and then Ford said, hey, we're going to, you know, get people our trucks so you can power your house. And then like this week, I think there was a story out where, or last week, where some couple was having a wedding and the power went out, and then they used basically the Power Boost truck to power their wedding. So we thought, hey, if this is so interesting and prevalent, we got to give it a try. So we found actually a guy here in Colorado who's hooked up his house to run off of a generator.
Yeah. Which
is basically the same outlet that the truck has.
Like a transfer switch.
Yeah, and install the transfer switch. So we went out to his house, and then we tried to power his house with Andre's truck, and it was interesting. It was not expected what happened. I'm not going to give away the ending, but
not great.
It'll be out tomorrow on TFL Truck, and we featured you in it.
Yes, but not in the way I wanted to be featured into it. That's right, for sure. So be sure to stay tuned for that. What else do we have going on here? On TFLnow, I think we'll have the GMC Hummer walk around.
Yeah, and then the coolest thing...
not Hummer, the GMC Canyon concept walk around.
And the coolest thing that's going to be up on TFL Car on Sunday is the Tyke Ike, Tommy.
Yes, that's very cool. Yeah, Andre did an Ike Gauntlet with Nathan in a Kia, so that was very fun. That was very cool.
So you know, we kind of ran out of trucks to run up the Ike Gauntlet, and so we've been noticing a lot of people are towing now smaller trailers with crossovers and SUVs, obviously, since they're very popular. And so we thought, you know what? Why don't we create an entire series called the Tyke Ike and take like, you know, SUVs and crossovers that are mid-size. So these are vehicles that maybe tow 3,000 pounds, right? And attach a camper to them and see how they do up the world's toughest towing test. So the first one is, of course, the Kia using Nathan's. Camper is probably too much of a word for it. It's pretty
just
pretty
stay
roachy.
Tuned. You'll see. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. So you'll see how that's rented. And then Andre, on Monday, we've got the ID4 actually parked next to the 4Runner. I'm looking at it, and we're going to run that up the Ike. So we're going to see how the ID4, Volkswagen's electric car, actually tows.
So be sure to stay tuned
for all that. Any other questions before we wrap this up?
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
There was one from Scott asking, will TFL be at the LA Auto Show? How about a fan meetup? Let's get some street tacos. Street tacos are pretty good.
Yeah, we've been thinking about a fan meetup, kind of doing it. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and you know, that's a very popular thing. We so far are planning on being at the LA Auto Show. Whether the LA Auto Show happens or not is a whole other, that's in November. So let's play that by ear. It would be fun to do a fan meetup. We'd love to see you guys. It'd be cool. We met a lot of fans at the expo today. Handed out a lot of TFL stickers.
It's very cool.
We would love to do something where we just chat cars and trucks.
Yeah, so we'll try to make that happen maybe.
Yeah. Thank you for the suggestion. Anything else, Tommy, before we say goodbye?
Manual 4Runner, probably not going to happen. I was talking to the product planning folks, and they just don't sell. They sell so few manual Tacomas that a manual 4Runner is probably out of the question, and a diesel is probably also almost definitely out of the question.
There's been a lot of talk about a diesel Tundra.
Stumptown Woodworks, $5. Can the Bronco even have a roof tent with the way the roof is made, or do you need an exoskeleton rear space less than 402? I'm not really sure, but I think you would have to go for more of a exoskeleton design.
Especially if you want to remove those panels.
You'll for sure, yeah. So like most folks, when they put it on Wranglers, they have like a exterior rack.
Scaffolding, yeah.
Yeah. So especially in a soft top, that would be the only way to do it. But yeah, we don't see a lot of rooftop tents on Wranglers. We do see some. Certainly, there is a market out there, but not that huge.
Yeah. And then I said before, you got to the question, I said there's a rumor that the Tundra, and this is just a rumor, so I'm passing along rumors now. No comment from Toyota. This has nothing to do with official, but the rumor out there is that Toyota might actually be bringing a diesel in that doesn't use DEF fluid.
I will.
New technology.
I will eat my right shoe if that happens.
You don't think there's a chance, like a
No, I just
clean diesel.
Toyota has gone
using synthetic fuels.
Toyota has gone so far in the other direction from diesel, toward the push toward hybridization, and maybe a diesel hybrid would be amazing. But I talked to them a while back, a few years ago, about diesel in America, and they said at this time that is by far the wrong direction we're thinking about going. But maybe they've changed their mind, and we will see one.
All right, well, guys, thank you for watching. Tommy's going to go put on some new racing tires on the Mini GP because you're autocrossing it tomorrow, aren't you?
Yep, and I'm exhausted, and I'm going to go take a nap.
So take a nap and then go autocross it tomorrow. And come back next week when we'll return. Well, Monday we're not having a live show because we're all out of the office. Everybody's on programs. Andre, by the way, just did get to drive the new Raptor, and those videos will be published on Tuesday. So we already put up a video on the Raptor on truck showing you the different exhaust notes, but there's a full review coming Tuesday.
Yep.
And then remember this weekend, and just go to TFL-studios.com because we're going to have the Tyke Ike, and we're going to see if we can powerhouse with Andre's F-150, and I'm really proud of both of those videos. It's something that nobody else is out there doing, and that's, from a creative point of view, that's really hard. There's so much competition now on YouTube. To do something that no one else is doing is not easy.
Yep, and we'll see you guys next time on another episode of Talking Cars and Talking Trucks.
Right. Ciao.